It's Father's Day, and though a heartfelt greeting should be more than enough, well, we thought of other more special ways of honoring the man with a list of gifts that ought to last, even outlast his lifetime. In this episode, we've picked out some pieces from our favorite brands in the world of luxury for that special man at the head of the family. First, we'll take a look at two of the most enduring and collectible accessories for men: mechanical timepieces and fountain pens. Then we'll show you how to style Dad with handcrafted shoes and a new set of made-to-measure suits. So join us as we honor fathers everywhere. I'm David Celdran, and this is Executive Class. Our first list is made of gifts meant to be passed on from generation to generation. So why not begin the cycle with a gift to your father, a gift you'll eventually inherit, and so will your children. These days, most children greet Dad, Happy Father's Day, by text, email, or with a post on FB or Instagram. But take it from this dad, nothing quite beats the sincerity, permanence, and elegance of a handwritten letter or card. Words inscribed in longhand using a fountain pen and ink. First introduced in the middle of the 19th century, nib pens with a built-in inkwell or reservoir revolutionized writing. Fountain pens have since lost out to more practical writing instruments and modern communication equipment, but the appeal of pen and ink is timeless, and historic manufacturers like Montblanc of Hamburg, Germany, continue to improve and expand their pen collections and accessories. Today, our smartphones can do pretty much anything we want it to, from telling the time in different time zones to sending emails and messages online. And that's why it's so amazing that fountain pens and mechanical watches are still very much desired these days. Well, in the case of Montblanc, that's because they're works of art.
I think you do not need a perpetual calendar to tell the time. You do not need a heritage rouge et noir serpent to write. You don't need it, but there's a beauty about it which is undeniable. The heritage, the craftsmanship, the emotion that goes behind every single piece is something that we all enjoy. So I think it is not a product that you need, but it's a product you enjoy every day. And we see an increasing number of collectors, of people coming to Montblanc, using our watches, our leather goods, or our writing instruments.
Montblanc wasn't the first to introduce fountain pens, but their legendary Meisterstück 149 pen released in 1924 is considered the gold standard, an enduring design icon, as much as it is a superlative writing instrument. The Meisterstück model is the most recognizable and imitated pen design of all time, and though its black cap and barrel, snow cap tip, and gold trim are easy to copy, the unique value of the iconic model lies in the quality and design of its heart-shaped 18-karat gold nib. Each nib is shaped by hand in a process comprising over 30 steps and crowned by the 4810 engraving, representing the height of Montblanc, the tallest peak in the Alps the brand was named for.
The feeling of writing with a fountain pen, that capacity for the nib to slowly personalize itself according to your writing, and that unique style that everyone has, is something that cannot be compared. So even if you have a broader audience that writes with Montblanc writing instruments, the feeling of writing with a Montblanc fountain pen nib is something very different to anything else.
Owning a Meisterstück often starts one's journey into the world of rare and collectible Montblanc instruments, some of which were unveiled at an exclusive event for collectors hosted by Rustans, Montblanc's longtime partner in the Philippines.
So here we have the Montblanc Heritage Rouge et Noir Serpent Edition. It's 110 pieces in the world. We can see it here. It is actually numbered, so this one here is number 103.
The titanium-coated barrel and cap with a hand-engraved white gold serpent with eyes of ruby coiled around it demonstrates the marriage of high artistry and precision engineering achieved by the company.
quite a heavy writing instrument. But when you open it up, you can see that the snake itself continues all around and continues until the white gold nib here that we have, and you see again the head of the snake.
Another sought-after series is the Patron of Arts collection. In 2018, Montblanc is showcasing its homage to Henry Steinway, the founder of the legendary piano company, with only 888 pieces of the sculpted gold pen. Also limited to 888 is the Patron of Art's Peggy Guggenheim fountain pen. The Art Deco pattern and Venetian motif are a tribute to the Grande Dame of modern art collectors and the museum named after her in Venice. Cardinal Scipione Borghese, a patron of Italian art, is represented as well with a pen inspired by the family's famous villa and art gallery in Rome. Naturally, great authors who used pen and ink for their manuscripts are honored in Montblanc's Writer's Edition. The Antoine Saint-Exupéry's pen's details channel the travels in aircraft flown by the author of the iconic novel The Little Prince. Although Shakespeare used a quill to pen his sonnets, Montblanc pays tribute to the bard with a special edition fountain pen. The Great Character series captures the lives and careers of modern icons and translates these into pens named after each. Symbols of John F. Kennedy's achievements as U.S. President and his love for sailing appear in this limited edition 1917 pen in red, white, and blue, while Andy Warhol's trademark pop art style is memorialized in this delicately engraved stainless steel pen. As for the Beatles, the most popular rock group of all time is remembered with his colorful striped pen, an ode to the album design of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. By designing and crafting pens inspired by famous personalities, Montblanc allows us to channel the exalted world of great men and women who no doubt wrote and signed their greatest manuscripts, laws and treaties, letters and music sheets with pen and ink. Writing instruments that are also works of art to be admired, collected, and passed on to future generations. Just like mechanical watches, which Montblanc manufactures in Switzerland. The Heritage Chronomètre Exo Tourbillon Minute Chronograph Vasco da Gama is a limited edition timepiece that's making waves among watch enthusiast circles. But since Montblanc is relatively new in watchmaking, only time will tell whether a grand complication piece like this will be considered a classic a century from now. A watch icon, on the other hand, is a timepiece that has outlasted trends in fashion, an instrument that's instantly recognizable, a watch which, even if released 50 or more years ago, still looks the same and just as great today, even if the case, bracelet, and movement have improved over the years. A watch like the Omega Speedmaster, introduced in 1957, but still in production. The current models are equipped with Omega's accurate anti-magnetic master chronometer movements, and the new cases made with exotic materials, but the design of the Moon watch is hardly changed. Another icon we'd pick is Breitlink's legendary Navitimer, first introduced in 1952. The case size of the world's first self-winding chronograph has increased over the last 60 years, and new versions come with an in-house Breitling movement. But the dial, designed for professional aviators, remains pretty much the same, despite the model's slight change of name to Navitimer 1. Some icons change so subtly, only watch geeks would notice. The Rolex GMT Master, released for commercial pilots in 1954, is almost identical to the latest version, the GMT Master 2, which we saw at the 2018 Basel World Fair. The steel case and bracelet of the original is now offered in a more durable oyster steel, the old red and blue bakelite bezel now in Cerachrom. And though the automatic movement of the first GMT Master is no match for the current caliber, there's little else that sets the two apart. Amazingly, some vintage versions cost more than brand new. And that's the beauty of an iconic watch. Whether it's Jaeger-LeCoult's Art Deco inspired Reverso, or IWC's simple but timeless Mark Series steel pilot watch, they're for keeps, with a value that might even increase. Geneva's last family-owned watch brand has even crafted an ad campaign around it. You never really own a Patek Philippe. You merely look after it for the next generation. Every year, Patek Philippe is celebrating an anniversary of sorts, and for this year it's the 50th anniversary of the Golden Ellipse. Yes, it's not quite as familiar as, let's say, the Nautilus or the Calatrava, but it's every bit an iconic Patek Philippe. You just have to look at it to understand why. It's not just an iconic Patek timepiece, but an iconic design as well. One of the oldest in the world, using dimensions known as a golden ratio, an ancient formula symbolizing the harmony and balance found in art and nature. The so-called divine proportions of Patek's Golden Ellipse are also found in the Great Pyramid of Giza, Sistine Madonna, and Da Vinci's drawings of the human anatomy.
The design was very daring at the time.
The ellipse.
In the 1960s, the inspiration of the perfect divine proportions from the golden section was very light. Even the communication around the product was interesting and daring for the period. And what was also very special, it was launched with a blue gold dial. And that was a discovery of the period, not Patek, but blue gold didn't exist before. At least not to our knowledge.
So for the 50th year, what do we have?
So we have a new model that enters the collection in complement of the jumbo size platinum model with the blue gold dial that is in the current collection. We have a rose gold model with a black dial with a sunburst finish, which gives a lot of light. And a little added touch is the black onyx on the crown. That's a feature that the regular collection model doesn't have.
The calmly elegant Golden Ellipse, with nothing more than the hour in seconds hand, is practically identical to older versions, except for the larger case size launched 10 years ago. 50 years old this year. With the ultra-thin self-winding caliber 240 beating within, it remains the slimmest watch in Patek Philippe's collection. A limited edition rare handcrafts Golden Ellipse was also launched to mark the model's 50th anniversary year. Within the elliptical platinum case is a black enamel dial with an elaborate volute pattern hand-engraved in the 18-karat gold dial plate. It's an extremely delicate procedure only elite watchmakers like Patek Philippe can achieve. Beautiful. 50th year.
So on the back of the watch you have the engraving Ellipse d'Or in French, 1968-2018, and matching cufflinks that feature the exact same dial with the same work as we have on the dial of the watch, except at the center you have a miniature Calatrava cross.
Instead of the hands.
Instead of the hands, yeah. Indeed, gold cufflinks, a classic watch, and an elegant pen. These are the perfect accessories to match with a well-tailored suit and custom-made dress shoes. We'll personalize Dad's wardrobe next when our Father's Day gift list returns after the break.